Hello all, this is Alice, and today, after more than a month in which I did experience a fair bit of technical problems, we are going to continue with the Alice Plays Pathologic series. This bit originally spoke about it ending on the 2019 release of Pathologic 2, leaving the door open for the other two routes that were left and that we barely got any news of at that moment. But guess what? We have news on the Bachelor route! The Alpha is coming in October. We might get the whole thing by the end of the year. Let's flip it! Go! This being said, one of the problems I faced when beginning this new journey, yet again, is one that the Patho players will know too well. Time stops during dialogues. And here, I have the chance to access all of the options. Of course, me being me, and wanting to dig deep in all of the lore, ended up with circa 6 hours of footage for day 1. And I have not finished it yet. So, I am dividing this all in convenient 1-hour bits for you to consume and see all the hidden lore and how this has changed in several versions. Trust me, it is for the best. So, without further ado, Alice Plays Pathologic, The Bachelor Alpha, Day 1, Part 1, in which we begin to meet old friends in new disguises. First of all, I wanted you all to see this bit. This bit being that we have a main menu now, with the music that we all have come to know and love, and a design that is already calling to the menu that is so familiar to us. By the way, yes, some boasting here, but again I did translate the menus and the dialogues with the help of 2 online translators and much tinkering, except for 2 things that had to stay in Cyrillic, that is, we'll talk about them later. As you can see though, most of these buttons are placeholders without some actual use, except for this, the new game 1, which now will bring us to a very familiar place. And that very familiar place, as you all can imagine, is the first floor of the Stillwater. We cannot access the second floor, but there's an explanation later, I think. But anyhow, yeah. As you all can also imagine, that girl in front of us is Ibayan, with a different design from the ones that we were accustomed to. But before we talk to her, let's check some stuff. Menus. And yeah, I also translated this, as I said. And here's one of the 2 things that was not translated. Because when I tried to tinker with the menu, it suddenly became some black hole of sorts, and it did not look nice, so I decided to keep it this way. Besides, you can see that this one's the main mission. Here's the daily task and the other tasks for the day. If you have played the game, that's obvious. But anyhow, let's check on the text. My mission still seems vague to me. The results of the examination of Simon Kane are remarkable. According to some sources, Longliver can turn the foundations of modern thanatology and scientific ideas about death in general. However, even if the very fact of the existence of this dragon is true, by itself it will not cancel the order of the authorities to liquidate a laboratory. It will be necessary to find the right approach to this person. If this Simon, a man burdened with authority and power, sees in my request a damage to his dignity, it will not be easy to convince him to write a new page in the history of the doctrine of the laws of life processes. Yeah, you will all see that since this is mostly machine translated, it can become quite a mouthful. Okay, so we've seen, yeah, so far we don't have anything in the daily tasks or in the other tasks, but we'll have it soon. There's also the letters menu, and we'll check the very first letter we have. Isidor Burach's letter needs to be opened automatically. Dear Bachelor Dankowski, I regret to learn that the authorities are going to close the laboratory, which has gained fame thanks to your research in the field of thanatology. Is it true that they call your work scientific extremism? If someone thinks it is hopeless to study aging, the causes of natural death, and necrosis, I have just discovered a case that can shut them up and restore your good name. The ruler of our city, Simon Kane, is a living example of truly inexplicable longevity. I can't explain this phenomenon. No, that was obvious. Come urgently. It can become a sensation. Save, revitalize, and glorify your laboratory. Always your faithful servant and colleague, Isidor Burach. And there's also the character menu, in which here's our friend Daniel, and the several stats that we have to take care of during the game. We all know most of them, but there's a new addition, I think, the noiselessness one, which I guess has to do with some stealth stuff. And finally, the inventory, which yet again completely translated by yours truly. And here are the sections that we already know. And there's also two new buttons that I haven't tried yet. I don't know if they were given some purpose aside from being there in this alpha, but anyhow, yeah, for example, here's the water bottle full of water with the picture and the description. And here's also the those that don't have a bigger picture but at least have the name and some description. And now, after we have seen all of this, let's talk with Eva.
Hello, my bachelor. It is a pity you came at dawn. If you had come earlier, I would have been able to entertain you tonight. I've been waiting for you for so long. I haven't slept a wink all night.
How do you know who I am?
Glory flies ahead of the man, a metropolitan celebrity, Bachelor Dankowski, a fighter against death, the founder of Thanatica. Of course we've heard of you, but who knew you'd be like this? Amazing.
This fame's still undeserved. I hope that the examination of your centenarian will help me justify the proud title that you have awarded me. Alas, in advance.
You rush to Simon as if your life depends on him. Come to your senses, the Kanes are sleeping. Undress, take off your traveling cloak. Rest on my bed. Let me warm your hands.
Life, yes. Probably now that the fate of my laboratory hangs in the balance, and my whole life's work is under threat, everything depends on this amazing person. Whoever he is. But if the old Burach is right, and he really managed to live for so many years, the tissues of this Kane will help me to win over death.
Death? That's the enemy you've chosen for yourself. Isn't it hard? It seems that no one has ever managed to defeat her.
Millions of doctors manage to defeat it in particular cases. My enemy is scarier. My enemy is not a special case of death.
I don't understand.
Yes, you don't understand. I barely understand myself. Perhaps death seems inevitable to us, but it is in fact just the whim of the will that has arranged this world? This is a question. So, where's the key to my victory?
It's nearby. The Canes live in the horns on the bridge square. I'll draw it for you. The main person after Simon is Georgi Kane. Call him Judge. The best of them is his brother Victor. And most importantly, Maria. She wanted to see you. She mentioned someone's death. It is better to listen to her. The girl does not throw words to the wind. Go on, and I will prepare everything for your return.
Okay, I'll be back soon. And here's our first view of a map of the town on Gorkon, which just looks a bit more similar to the one that we already know and love, and quite bigger in comparison to the technical demo. Let's see the information. This house is called the Pool. A lonely girl named Eva Yan lives here. It seems that a chance meeting gave me a faithful friend and a temporary shelter. By the way, I've tried to check for the names most of the time and use the translations that were used in Pathologic, Classic HD and Pathologic 2. But yeah, I think I use them because these are the names I am the most familiar with. Though I imagine that it would be had been technically better to use the translations used in the original English translation of Pathologic. And yes, sorry for the redundancy here. I must admit though that I have not checked the names of the places, but anyhow, we all pretty much know which is which. Okay. Simon Kane, who has lived an unacceptably long time in the world, is waiting here. I hope he will treat my request with due understanding. I just need a living testimony of the impossible. The mysterious Maria, Victor Kane's daughter, certainly wanted to meet. She mentioned someone's death. Oh boy, you don't even know. But before we leave, Eva has some more information that I think it's worth checking. So here we go again.
You say you went out to fight death. You're going to have to watch yourself carefully right now. It is September now. As long as you breathe in this air, know that every minute you will die.
What does September have to do with it?
There are many grasses growing in this steppe. Some are intoxicated when they bloom, some when they dry out. White whip, tweed and sabior are dangerous in August and September, when they give their juices to the sun. It is always a headache this time of the year. The cords are in pain.
How do you live here?
Tweed is a rare herb, so it's usually tolerable, but this year there's an unimaginable amount of it. Old-timers said that this has not happened yet. They consider it a harbinger of trouble. I don't believe in trouble, but the air is literally buzzing. Don't you feel it yourself? Are you not dizzy?
Yes, the air is heavy.
You need to sleep constantly. Drink water. In any case, do not starve. Maintain strength. Very carefully monitor your health. If you feel bad, drop everything and strengthen your strength. Otherwise, you'll die of a broken heart or an hemorrhage like mine. Familiar? Be careful, okay?
Okay, so I don't have the first conversation with Eva in Pathologic 1 which means either Pathologic 2005 or Pathologic Classic HD, very recent in my mind. But I think that here they've given her the bit of the tragedian and the executor that are supposed to wait for us outside of the Stillwater? Might be. Anyhow, I have a strong heart and a strong head.
Do you know why our cathedral is empty?
Why?
In fact, it's not a cathedral at all. It was supposed to become a cathedral, but for some reason it didn't. Sometimes it makes me sad.
Why did this happen?
Oh, Yulia thought about it a lot. Yulia Lyurisheva. She's the smartest girl in town. She has no friends, no lovers. She doesn't even drink. She just reads and thinks. Reads and thinks. Talk to her.
And where does she live?
Here, in the Seine. This block is called an edge. Then look in on her sometime, if you want. It gives me a headache.
Thanks.
The Canes are waiting for you.
I know. And just checking one last time. And yeah, it's the same dialogue, so... Oh, sorry, I just noticed I clicked on a different option. Okay, so Danny just said it doesn't look like you were sad.
I could live next to a place where mystery happens every day.
I feel bad for saying this, but yeah. However, I'm in a hurry.
The Canes are waiting for you.
I know that very well. Thank you, love. And off we go to see the bridge square. But first of all, yeah, as we don't have a saving menu, and there are some places that we might get stuck in, because this is an alpha version of the game, and alpha versions tend to have their own bugs. I am going to be making use of the command console, but yeah, mostly in the cases of saving, yeah, you're going to find out that I am quite of a safe scammer, and just getting out of certain places where the normal way won't be possible. And so here it goes. Save day 1 EVA 01. Just in case. And off we go. And yeah, that you have just seen and saw previously is the other thing that I was not able to translate to English. The loading screen. It just turned out to be a series of question marks, and I decided I liked the original in Cyrillic a lot better. And just as I supposed, there's no tragedian nor an executor here, which makes me think that in this version of the alpha is an earlier version than the one in the video Half-Killed Winak, and I apologize if I mispronounced the name, posted 2 years ago. There's also some other stuff, but we'll talk about that later. Oh, and by the way, aside from being a bit of a safe scammer, I am also a complete and utter raccoon. Which means, if I find trash, I am going to look in it. Which, in my opinion, is the only sane approach when confronted with this in every version of the game. And yes, you can see this alpha has a lot of doggos going around, which I'm kind of okay with, as long as they don't try to attack me. Yes, some more bottle, another razor, nothing here. And another bottle. And as you guys can see, here's the cathedral, which now has a design far more like we were accustomed to see. And yeah, there's also a very starry sky, which is kinda cute. They could have left that in the later versions, but didn't. And there's something I want to show you all. And yeah, as you can all already imagine what is it. Yes, it's Miss Polyhedron. And oh boy, this version is absolutely gorgeous. Full disclosure, I'm not the biggest Polyhedron fan, but when I saw this version, I think I began to understand the appeal. And of course, Daniel probably just took a lot of damage just from hearing my comment. But anyhow, off you go, city boy. And here is Arman Georgi. His design is not exactly, but quite similar to the one that will be seen in the released version. I think that velvet robe looks kinda cool. Venerable Doctor, we have been waiting for you with the greatest impatience. There's no need to state the details of your case. I know them. We were aware of your labors and we were going to provide you with all possible assistance. I am all the sudden to inform you that my half-brother, Simon, the creator, keeper, and embodiment of everything you see around you, has been killed. I do not believe. Killed tonight. Killed mysteriously after the onset of strange circumstances. That evening, for the first time in many years that I've known him, for the first time, I saw fear on his face. A heavy, guttural fear. Such fear attracts the grey-haired bird to die in a gorge with poisonous fumes. So, what exactly is unusual about his death? More precisely, her circumstances. Murder, Doctor. Let's call a spade a spade. That evening he dismissed the visitor, came out to us in the hall, announced that from now on he would not receive anyone, and ordered not to approach his chambers. Then, inside, he talked to himself. The household still violated his ban and listened near the door. He was found dead in the morning. Who was this visitor? You know this man. He was your colleague, Isidor Bura. Isidor invited you here, didn't he? Yes. Isidor has done more than he thinks. I have a feeling that this time is realizing its plan and using forces for this, arguing with which is ridiculous. What do you think? I'm not a fatalist. My mind clouded by grief. I have a feeling that your arrival was not accidental, dear doctor. Not much depended on your will here. Let's not write it off as fate. We didn't know about the letter. Isidore wrote it at the risk of incurring the wrath of our house. But my brother was preparing to meet you. The tragedy could have been the result of actions taken by him for the sake of your failed meeting. I'm sorry for your loss with all my heart. Is there anything I can do for you? Do you want to help, Doctor? Find us the killer. My brother Victor. You'll find him in the next wing. Already has some ideas on this. Help us, and we will not remain in debt. Yes, really. The coincidences are too coincidental. The murder of your brother is my murder. I will help you as much as I can. Finding this person is an intellectual mystery. If Isidore was the instrument of fate, then the murder of my brother is a message to you personally. But I don't blame you for that. I sympathize with you. And yeah, just as with Eva, Georgi has some more information. I hope for you, Doctor. Who of the townspeople can help me? Whose words I can rely on? Who is trustworthy? I don't know how much time you have to spend here, Doctor. I am glad to see you as my guest, although the circumstances are such that it would be unforgivable to keep you. But while you are here, and especially considering that you are trying to establish the truth, I consider it my duty to give you advice. I would be very grateful to you. The place has its own history. There is no time to retell it, although it serves as the only justification for the order of things that you, with your metropolitan education, probably think it's fanatical. Not at all. 3 truths rule this city. 3 beginnings. 3 ideas, if you like. For several generations, these 3 truths have been clashing in an irreconcilable struggle. I suspect, however, that none of them can exist without the other 2, although each strives for sole domination, and each of them has its own voice. Tell me. These voices are the Rollins surnames, the co-owners of the Bulls Project, who, passing power by inheritance, have owned this settlement for almost 200 years. The paradox is that the truths they profess are true, but they speak in parables and paradoxes. 3 warring truths shout over each other and belittle what is valuable in each of them. Okay, so who are these people? The first voice is the Saburovs, the second one is Olgimsky, the third is us, the Kanes. These are 3 heads of one beast. All 3 clans will offer you different versions of what is happening. All 3 will lie with their voices and the voices of their adherents. All 3 will distort the truth. We cannot do otherwise. But at the same time, against our will, reveal the truth in its entirety. Do you recommend to believe you? I advise you not to trust anyone. Perhaps I am the only one of the 3 rulers who ask you not to trust his own words. Maybe this will endear you to me a little. At least, I want to be honest. You should not completely trust either the Kanes, the Olgimskis, or the Saburovs. Such sincerity really inspires confidence. Moreover, everyone will tell you about the others. without much sympathy. Most likely, only bad. It is inevitable. Since none of us will stoop to direct slander, everything that will be said will turn out to be true, but distorted, incomplete. Listen carefully to these words and take them into account. Thank you. The stories about the evil that the kings caused to the world are partly true. Don't rush to trust me. Don't rush to act in my best interest. As you can see, I am ready to take even such a desperate step, so long as nothing hinders the clarity of your investigation. The only reason I make such a confession is your complete impartiality. I don't want my brother to die in vain. I will take your words seriously. Don't worry. And we have our first daily mission, which is find and punish the murderer of Simon Kane. Let's see, because Georgi still has some more information. Yes, and even more. I'd like to examine your brother's body. We sent for the best student of Isidor Burach. His name is Stanislav Rubin. He's a very determined and capable man. This is Stanislav Rubin. I have high hopes for him. He will bring everything you need, and together with him you will examine the body. Okay, so I'm not a pathologist, and dissecting the dead is not my trade. However, I could do a preliminary inspection. I'm very sorry, Doctor. Our family has ancient traditions. According to one of them, the deceased should be left to himself for a day. No one should look at him or touch him. The day is running out this night. Okay, first of all, apologies for the tongue tying. There is going to be more, probably, because this is a wall of text and a wall of machine translate text, so to be more precise. But anyhow, it's the pathologic experience, and you're living through this with me, and thanks for that. An interesting question. What is it caused by? Excessive haste has led to undesirable consequences several times. The phenomenon for which Isidore summoned you. It's in our blood, one way or another, but this physiological trait of our family makes itself felt from time to time. You intrigue me. The examination of the body will not help you in any way. This task needs to be solved in the mind. I cannot, no, I have no right to tell you more. Believe me, I am not hiding evidence from you. The body lies in a cold room and is completely untouched. Without our knowledge, no one can penetrate into the inner peace. I'll wait for the deadline to expire. And something else. Do you trust this Rubin? I will trust Rubin with my life. A worthy, brave and capable doctor. Reliable and noble. Everything he does conscientiously. He doesn't like people, but he serves them. Why, are you asking? I wonder what kind of person he is. Are there many people in your city that you should pay special attention to today? About 3 dozen. Rubin is certainly one of them. And who are the others? You will meet them today. Are you probably annoyed by my omissions? I understand. But I'm doing this solely because I can't hide my biased opinion. I don't want to draw you a deliberately false picture of what is happening. They will do it without me. I appreciate your dedication, Judge. And it's time to go and visit Victor, but as I said, save day 1, Georg 01. Da-da-dum. And here we go to the other wing of the crucible. And here's our man Victor, who's already standing up when we see him. The famous Dr. Dankowski, your arrival is a great honor for us. Victor Kane, at your service. Daniel Dankowski, to yours. I foresee that things that had become familiar for us for a long time will cause you confusion and dislike. Yeah, this text causes me a lot of confusion. I'm sorry. I would like to smooth out this impression. Our small community has fallen out of the cycle in which the country has fallen. Time is passing us by. What exactly do you mean? I mean traditions. The games we play with gusto are unlikely to be of interest to you. The people who make decisions about our future may seem eccentric, naive, or not quite sane. Take pity on them, more precisely, us. I will try to not disappoint you. Have you found the killer yet, Bachelor? Not yet. What do you think about concealment, Doctor? Here's the situation. The criminal breaks into the house of a man of firm principles and asks for patronage. The duty of hospitality obliges the host to welcome anyone who finds himself under his roof. This is an ancient law, but civic duty obliges to punish the scoundrel. Isn't that right? The situation is tragic. It all depends on the details and circumstances. Who is the boss? And who is the criminal? It seems that the killer took refuge in the house of a woman whom I deeply honor. This is a well-known singer here, Anna Angel. Yet, this is again genuine surprise at seeing that Victor apparently respects Anna Angel. For whatever reason. I admire her vocal talents and respect her fearlessness, considering some circumstances of her fate, as well as an event that in the coming days should change her future. How do you know about this? It doesn't matter. The town is small. The wind together with the leaves carries rumors, and with bird feathers, other people's voices. We know each other so well that sometimes we catch words and thoughts literally telepathically. The peculiarity of our family. I see. All of this very normal. And where does this Anna live? She lives in a mansion that once belonged to another brilliant singer, Vera Verba. She tragically died 5 years ago at the age of 16. This mansion is called Willows. It stands next to Stamatin's den on the bank of the vein, in the ground. I'll try to help her. Willow, the house where the singer Anna with the sonorous surname Angel lives. Victor suggests that it is in this house that the killer may be hiding. What role does she play in this case? Who knows? Who knows? And yeah, there's something in the other tasks. Sorry. to check if the killer is hiding in the suspicious mansion of Willow at the singer Anna Angel. Nothing yet in the main task of today, but let's talk some more with Victor. Can I help you? Georgi told me everything. That is, he told me negligibly little, but enough to overwhelm me. He said that your story will be more detailed. So you agreed to help us? Yes. May I know for what reason? If I understand your brother correctly, he seeks an extraneous will in this event. The interest of the murderer coincided in a striking way with the interest of those who have been waging a war against my discoveries for many years. I am ready to answer all of your questions. Could it be poisoning? Impossible. He didn't drink or eat anything for several days, and before that he drank wine exclusively from all household stocks. I opened the bottles myself. And why did he take such precautions? I didn't even think about it. Were these precautions? He was experimenting with himself all the time, not only with the body, but also with time, with language, with his way of thinking, even with fate. Yeah, I've been correcting this on the fly, so yes, sorry if it's even the correction is actually an inaccurate translation, just in case. Maybe his death is also the result of such an experiment. It seems to me, I'll tell you a secret, that this is exactly what scares my formidable brother Georgi. I can say anything more. However, no one but you will answer some of my questions. For example, could the killer have been already waiting for Simon there? No, you have no idea what inner peace is. Getting in there is like getting into someone else's head, or in a picture on paper. It is impossible. Did Simon manage it? He was able to do much more exciting things. No wonder the whole city is in awe with him. Of him. Oh. Did he even exist? Bravo, Doctor. There really is a spark of genius in you. But alas, yes, existed. Why, alas? Not because I was interested in his death. His death calls into question our existence. Only because this version explains everything too easily. Simon was. This caused confusion in the hearts of people. They have come to terms with the impossibility of his existence with such difficulty that now the thought of his disappearance drives them crazy. So, what is the inner peace? It's kind of an equation of puzzles with mirrors. I don't understand. In general, the killer could not hide there. Take my words on faith. Okay. We will collect the pieces of the puzzle. And an update. Find residents of the city who personally knew Simon, clarify the circumstances of his death, and draw up a portrait of the killer. But still, Victor has more stuff for us. Let's move on to the circle of witnesses who can tell us something. Do you know them? There are skeptics and apologists among them. Skeptics make it clear that Simon had to die. Apologists believe that if Simon could have died, it was only at the hands of a devilishly capable attacker. The people already endow this Shabnak with the most terrible features. Where do you recommend to start? Simple people and more entertaining people live here. You will have to make sure of this. Simpletons say more than they know. Entertaining people know much more than they say. There are not so many of the latter. 20, maybe 30. You will easily distinguish them, at least by their dwellings and the manner of bearing. It was their company that Simon preferred to all others. You speak very vaguely. I thought you'd give me a list of names. Our town is a family. Not very friendly, but close. My brother was right. I'm sure he refused a request to let you in on the details. First, you need to see those who were involved in Simon's life to decide which of them may be involved in his death. I do not know how each of them looks at the death of the ruler. So, on what basis did you divide them into skeptics and apologists? I call skeptics people about whom the following is known. Shortly before the tragedy, they made it clear in private conversation that Simon would soon die. This that not sorry. This that not this does not mean that they are guilty. But they obviously know something. Who are these people? I don't know that. I can only suspect, but suspicion is a bad feeling. It often goes hand in hand with prejudice. Those who have power, it is better not to rely on intuition. There is a temptation to replace the actual with the desired. And yet, why don't you ask them yourself? Everyone loves Simon, but not everyone loves Georgi. They won't tell us much of what they'll tell you. The reckless anger of the Keynes has already become a byword. Apologists will not tell us that they know the killer, for fear of arousing suspicion of complicity. So, what do you expect from me? Do you want to figure out who is with you and who is against you? Never. I don't want to know. And I do not advise you to reveal this to Georgi. Just make a portrait, just a perfect portrait of this bastard, based on their words. And I am sure you will be able to understand that what no king will be able to understand. And of course, today we will adequately reward you for this extravagant request. Okay? Yeah, and in this conversation, here's one of my favorite bits of lore revealed by this alpha. Can I help you? Maybe I should look for a place for the next night? So far, I'm staying with Ibayan. In the pool? Here's a strange combination of circumstances. Why? Simon gave the pool to Virayan, Eve's mother, when she was still young. Vira was an extremely seductive girl, and Simon was completely different then, but their friendship was chaste. The curves of her body did not appeal to Simon. We have been wondering for a long time why Vira received such a gift. And yes, here goes my theory of Iba being a secret Kaina. And suddenly the placement of Iba in the diurnal ending of Pathologic 2 near Victor and Georgi makes some more sense. And what were the versions? They say something lives on the second floor of the pool. It is said that Eva is obsessed with a certain sinister fiction. I respect stories about otherworldly forces, but I know exactly where the truth differs from lies. I don't believe in the rumor about the tenant, but the second floor of her house is always locked. And yeah, here's the reason why we appeared in the first floor. Really? One can argue about the existence of the laws of high magic and dense primitive witchcraft, because there are many arguments that speak in favor of this phenomena, but the existence of everything that is supposedly in between is stupid to even discuss. Children's inventions. It's nice to hear that, I think. By the way, the description Victor makes of Eva is fairly similar to the one he makes in Pathologic 1, so yeah. Is it possible to trust the opinion of Yulia Lyuricheva? This Yulia is cunning. She's a dangerous schemer. She asks a lot, says little, always experimenting. She is testing her theories about predestination in human destiny. How? Any conversation she has, even an innocent one, has its own goals, which, of course, she does not report. It pisses me off. You can't communicate with people like with experimental animals. I think sooner or later she will pay for it. Just saying that maybe you as a Kane shouldn't be saying this stuff, Victor, because if there's a family that communicates with the rest of the people like they were experimental animals, it's definitely the Kanes. It so is. Anyhow, life. Very likely. Excessive curiosity often causes death. In my position, it's better to not take your words seriously. Just to make sure. Can I help you? Don't worry. And off we go. Again. Save the 1. Victor 01. And saved. And off we go to the other side to see Maria. Maria. And yeah, here's another difference with from the version of the alpha that was posted in YouTube. Here Maria is wearing a red top, even if the design is fairly similar to what she wears in that other version, but there she was wearing a completely black dress, which pretty much looks like the one in the Utopian ending, whereas this one, yeah, it looks more like the ones in the several arts I have seen of her. You look more like an adventurer than a healer. How do you know me? I saw you in a dream. Make no mistake, my dreams have nothing to do with it. I just saw you taking a soul by the throat. What else was in this dream? I'll tell you when I can trust you. I hope it happens soon. The truth is, I didn't love the old man. I would not regret that he is no more if the chain of the hidden Taklur had not been broken with his death. Those who are now woven into the hidden Taklur have only a few days left to live.
In a prophetic dream, I saw their dead faces. Now time will turn its wheel against us. What is it, Aglur? We have such a game like a round dance, Taglur. Kids play it when they want to get mad. Taglur means circle in this local dialect. Another meaning of this word is family, the circle of the Genus. It used to be a ritual game, wedding or so. I don't know. And how is it played? Children gather in a crowd and rush through the streets. One shouts, "I am the root of a new kind." He pulls two out of the crowd and holds in their hands. Together they spin, shout various nonsense, sing naughty songs. Then the two of the ages pull out two more with their free hands. Those, two more. And so, until the circle closes, the family gathered. Simon played with someone in such a round dance? Hidden Taglur is, of course, not a round dance. Hidden Taglur is the connection of the life lines of several people. The most unexpected were included in it. I know for sure only some of them. I can only guess about some of them. Some do not even know that they are entering a hidden Taglur. Why do you say that these people are in danger of death? I had a vision that they would die in the coming days. Or did Simon die because one of them raised his hand against the other? Or vice versa? The death of the grandfather will cause a chain reaction in the circle. Anyway, the consequences are terrible. If the life of the doomed is woven into the fate of our land, the fate of our land is unenviable. Why did you tell me this? Do you want me to take care of them? Then turn back the wheel that is about to crush us. No, Bachelor, I don't think you can help. How can you guess where death will come from? How will you reward me if 10 days pass and your handlers are alive? Will you come with me to the capital? Okay, I see. This Daniel is a bit more flirty. With such proposals, turn to Ibajan, Bachelor. She will willingly go to the capital with you. Just don't let her forget to wear stockings and a bra on the road. Nah, never mind. I might be able to reward you. In its own way. You won't regret it. First of all, Maria, please. Second, I am intrigued. Tell me their names. That's how you are. Well, we'll talk tomorrow, Bachelor Dankowski. This is too serious. I still need time to think. Okay. Now I begin to understand Simon's plan. The circle of the family turns into a circle of suicide bombers. I don't mind wishing death to some of them, but I want to save someone at any cost. I feel sorry for children, dreamers, and lovers. Tell me about the hidden Taglur. Simon collected Taglur thoroughly. Of course, no one was running around the streets. Everything happened secretly, during face-to-face conversations. Simon then offered some to take the hand of the one they loved and the most or hate the most. Their names were secretly called by the invitees to Simon. Then Simon called those named and repeated the ceremony. So this friend or enemy didn't know who dragged him into Taglur? No one knows exactly who enters the hidden taglur. Somehow they got together to look at each other, but they didn't know then that Simon was playing taglur. And most importantly, no one knew for sure who and why dragged him into the circle. But Simon managed to guess almost all the participants of the circle in advance. Almost. And what was the result? When Simon closed Taglur, he announced that there was now a circle of keepers of the Genus. The continuation of our lives depends on who gave a hand. Perhaps he meant that as long as the chain exists, everything will work out for him, and the city will live as he intended. The lives of these people are tied to the lifeline of our earth. And why did Simon ask to bring in a circle of loved ones or enemies? Probably, grandfather wanted to connect the circle with strong emotions, hatred and love. But he declared that if one of those gathered falls out, time will turn its will against us. Everyone understood that. They didn't understand why he did it. Then we decided he wanted to prevent bloodshed. Hidden Taglur turned out to have more enemies than friends. Intricate. Do you think that their purpose was different? Sure. Girls, children, and respectable citizens would not cut each other with razors. But now it's obvious. Yes, no matter what you say, it's obvious that we'll start to die one by one. But who will kill them? Who will kill them? Are the enemies their enemies? And at the same time someone's favorite? Don't worry, no one's going to die. We Cains have always been out of this world, but the feeling that leads us is love. She can be furious, funny and blind, but love doesn't need excuses, right? Perhaps. You will have a truly terrible battle. If no one has talked about your fate yet, I'll be the first one to say it. Not that I admire you in advance. Regardless of the outcome, it will be a battle with an enemy that few can handle. Regardless of the outcome? You will get along with him like a snake fighter, but the weapon in your hands will turn against you. You will strike his body, but instead of his flesh you will tear your own. Every drop of his blood will turn into a sip of your own, and he will slip away from you, penetrate you, ride you, and laugh at you. And I will weep, looking at your battle. Okay, excuse the humorous aside, but I have written fanfiction based on even less than this. Yeah, sorry, that was terrible. Sorry. I'll make him regret it. And here's something that I wanted to explain. As those of you who have played Pathologic or Pathology Classic at HC are familiar, if you clicked on the picture of whatever character you're interacting with, you usually get some one-sentence description from other characters that can help you get a bit more of information regarding this character that you're interacting with. Here in this version, this menu was not implemented yet, but there's some information that you can have regarding other characters that you have already met mostly.
if you keep on talking with whatever character you're interacting with. For example, who is Georgi Kane? Uncle is a judge. They come to him for dispute resolution, not to Saburov. They say he makes fair decisions. Popular rumor attributes the presence of a third eye to the Kanes. This eye, they say, is a crow. It rotates the brain, does not give them rest, and shows them what people are forbidden to see. He sees the hidden, and people are ready to endure his anger in order to partake of his high justice, even through his suffering. Understood. And off we go. I apologize for that cat, and for many of the things that you might have found in this video, the tongue tying not being the least of them. I'm sorry, it will happen again. Still, I hope you'll like this, and we'll see each other again in part 2, which will be up hopefully in way less time than when it took me to do this. See you!